wabarakatuh. My name is Lulu Jana, and in this occasion, I will to explain about theory of the first language acquisition and the pattern of first language acquisition. The first, I will to explain about the theory of the language acquisition. But before we understand the theory, we must get to know what is the first language. First language is the design of the primary language with the speaker first acquire and use on the context basis. So, the first language acquisition is the process by which children acquire their first language. There are several theories that discuss the first language acquisition. Therefore, is behaviorism, nativism, cognitive approach, and interactive approach. And the first, I will to explain about behaviorism. According to the theory, language learning is a kind of the behaviorism. Similar to other human behavior, language is learned in much the same way anything else. For example, learn to drive, learn maths, and etc. According to Skinner, language behavior is the production of the concrete response to stimuli thought reinforcement. Language learning is the result of the imitation, practice, feedback, and habit formation. Imitation is children begin to follow the language they hear. For example, her mom speak daddy, mommy. So the children can speak daddy, mommy, and etc. And next, practice. Children begin to practice speaking the language they hear. For example, mommy speak daddy. So the children can practice speaking daddy too. And the next, feedback. There is the feedback from the parents to children to provide environment in speaking. And the next, habit formation. The formation of children habits to say the words or sentence that have been learned. And next, nativism. According this theory, we are born with a language acquisition device or LED and access to a universal grammar or UG. According Chomsky, children are biological programmed for the language, and the language developed in the children is just the same way that other biological function developed. So, children are born with a specific innate ability to discover from themselves the underlying role of a language system on the basis of the simple of the natural language. And the next, cognitive approach. According this theory, children language develop relies on the understanding of the word or cognition. According Piaget, language is dependent upon and spring from cognitive development. That is, children's cognitive development determine their language development. For example, the use of the words as bigger or more depend on the children's understanding of the concept this represent. Okay. Piaget's argument that the developing cognitive understanding is built on the interaction between the child and the thing which can be observed, touched, and manipulated. According to Piaget, there are the several stages of the cognitive development. The first, from birth until 2 years old. So the children can sensor motor. And second, from 2 until 7 years old, children can preparational. And the third, from 7 until 11 years old, children can concert operational. And the last, adolescents until adults, they can formal operational. Okay, the first I will to explain about sensor motor stage. During the early stage, infants are only aware of what is immediately in front of them. About age 7 until 9 months, baby began to realize that an object exists even if it can no longer be seen. So, baby can already know the immortality of the object. And then next, after baby can crawling, standing, and walking, their increased physical mobility leads to increased cognitive development. And the last, near the end of the sensory motor stage, baby can early language development. Next, preparational stage. This stage, young children are able to think about things symbolic. Their language is become more mature, and they begin to understand the difference between past and future. But their thinking is still not logical, so they don't know about cause and effect. And next is concrete operational stage. At this time, elementary age and pre-adolescent children to demonstrate logical. Children thinking become less egocentric, and they begin to realize one's own thought and the feeling are unique. Children also develop operational thinking, but most children still cannot to solve a problem with several variables in a systematic way. And the last, formal operational stage. In this stage, taken development are able to logically use symbols related to abstract concept. They can think about multiple variables in the systematic way, and they also can know the relation about abstract and concept. And the next is interactional approach. According to this theory, interactional theory are the concert with the interplay between environmental and biological factors in the process of the acquiring language. According Barner in 1983, parents provide the children a language acquisition support system, or LESS. LESS is a collection of the steps that the parent apply to facilitate their children's acquisition of the language, such as scaffolding. And according to Vygotsky, language develops primarily from the social interaction. Some of the proximal development, or CPO, is the level that a child is able to do when there is the support from interaction with more advanced intellectual. And the last, there are several problems that can affect language acquisition. The atypical language indicator is hearing impairment. It is which might cause a delay language acquisition. And the next, mental retardation, which might cause a delay language acquisition. And the next, autism. It is a language impairment from the very beginning. And the next is stuttering. It is a repetition of sound, syllable, or phrases where the speaker cannot realize the word. And the last is aphasia. Aphasia is partial of total loss of the language due to brain demand. And dyslexia is a disorder in the reading and writing which might be acquired or development. Okay, I think enough. Thanks for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.